Wildflower seed mixes. We have all seen them advertised on the internet and for sale in big box stores. But what exactly is a wildflower seed mix? Are they seed mixtures of plant species native to the area where they are being sold, as the name somewhat implies? Well, unfortunately, usually not. In fact, they are often seed mixes containing species that are not even native to North America, some of which may even be invasive species. I'm going to look at what is often in these types of seed mixes in this video. The one I chose is from a company that advertises widely on the internet and is like many wildflower mixes sold by the big box stores. The mix I picked for this video is marketed as a wildflower seed mix for my home state of Kentucky and is a blend of 30 different seeds. Now, with the name Kentucky Wildflower Seed Mix, many people will assume that it contains wildflowers from Kentucky. I don't have to assume this is the case because we get a ton of questions about these mixes every spring from people thinking they are buying a mix of seeds to grow plants native to wherever they live. As we are about to find out, what these seed blends contain are seeds for flowers that will grow in a particular place, Kentucky in our example, but can be from anywhere on planet Earth. So let's take a closer look at what is in the bag for this blend and why it isn't a good choice if providing for native pollinators is your goal. If you love to provide for our native pollinators and caterpillars, be sure to pollinate that like button. This mix does contain some species that are native to the United States, so let's take a look at them and their native ranges. They are common milkweed, Asclepias syriaca, lance-leaved coreopsis, Coreopsis lanceolata, plains coreopsis, Coreopsis tinctoria, purple prairie clover, Dahlia purpurea, clasping coneflower, Dracopis amplexicalis, purple coneflower, Echinacea purpurea, California poppy, Escolgia californica, great blanket flower, Gaillardia irostata, firewheel, Gaillardia pulchella, common sunflower, Helianthus annuus, sundial lupine, Lupinus perennis, lemon bee balm, Monarda citriodora, baby blue eyes, Nemophila menziesii, two color varieties of the upright prairie coneflower, Rhodobata columifera, and two color varieties of black-eyed Susan, Rudbeckia hirta. While we're on the subject of plant propagation, have you ever planted some native flower seeds and then when they started to germinate, along with all the various other seeds that were either in your soil or blew in on the wind, you had no idea which were the native sprouts that you had planted? I know you have. So have I. It can be super tough to tell what is what, especially when you're planting new species. If you have been looking for a reference that has pictures of the seedlings of commonly planted natives, I have some good news. The Gardener's Guide to Prairie Plants by Diebold and Cox has just such photographs in it, as well as photos of emerging established perennials, the mature plant, leaves, flowers, and even the seed head, plus a ton of other useful information. It is an excellent book, and I consider it a must-have for any native plant gardener's reference collection. This is an affiliate link, which simply means we get a commission if you purchase the book. No extra cost to you. We simply get a small commission from the seller, which helps support the channel. If we just glance at the list of seeds from plants native to the United States, things don't look so bad. There are 17 of them in this blend, 15 if you only count the species and not the color variants. But when we take a closer look, only 5 of them are native to Kentucky: common milkweed, lance-leaved coreopsis, purple prairie clover, purple coneflower, and the black-eyed Susan. The rest are mainly from the western U.S., the deep south, or adapted to sandy soils around the Great Lakes and on the east and Gulf Coast. I will discuss why this matters after I go through the rest of the species in this blend. There are 8 European species in the mix: the tall blue cornflower, Centaurea cyanus, Siberian wallflower, Chiranthus elonii, Sweet William, Dianthus barbatus, baby's breath, Gypsophila elegans, candy tuft, Iberis umbellata, scarlet flax, Linum grandiflorum, blue flax, Linum perenne, and red poppy, Papaver royas. And there are 3 species from Mexico: dwarf cosmos, Cosmos bipinnatus, sulfur cosmos, Cosmos sulphureus, and the zinnia, Zinnia elegans. The last 2 seeds in the mix are actually horticultural hybrids: a Shasta daisy, Leucanthemum hybrid superbum, and a garden-produced evening primrose, Onethera hybrid. So, In this seed blend named Kentucky Wildflower Mix, there are only 5 species out of 28 that are actually native to Kentucky, and 13 that are not even native to the United States. To make things even worse, one of the European species, blue cornflower, is a known and listed invasive species. Why we continue to allow the sale of known invasive plants is beyond comprehension. How does this mix rank as far as value to native pollinators, hosting caterpillars, and feeding wildlife? Well, not great. For this mix, the plants native to Kentucky will have the most benefit for the native bees and as host plants for caterpillars. The other U.S. natives will have reduced use from native bees and caterpillars when planted outside of their native ranges. The insects that rely on them simply aren't there to use them. The species from Europe and Mexico are basically only nectar and limited pollen resources for our native bees, and they serve essentially zero benefit to native caterpillars, although various Lepidoptera will siphon nectar from them. They will get quite a bit of use from honeybees, which of course aren't native either. To put it bluntly, this is not a good mix to plant if you want to do the most for native pollinators and caterpillars. Far from it. There are a lot of cheap non-native filler species that, while they may look good, and you will see honeybees on them, are not the plants that our native pollinator species need to sustain their populations. The U.S. native species that the blend contains are not well curated for the target state of Kentucky. Obviously, since only 5 of them are native to the state. There are many better choices that have similar looks and bloom times that are native to Kentucky. Overall, the species in this blend seem to have been chosen due to being inexpensive and readily available. While I could easily find a list of the species in this mix, what I couldn't find was a list of the actual percentages of each species within the mix. So there could be way more non-native seed in the mix than there are native seeds. There's just no way to know. All I could find was a statement that the bag contains 100% seed, which is also sort of misleading because 100% seed doesn't necessarily mean all of it is live seed that will germinate. Personally, I would never buy a seed mix without knowing these 2 pieces of information. While this blend of wildflower seeds is far from stellar, I have seen worse. Some of them contain no native seeds whatsoever. If you want to have the biggest impact on native pollinator populations, you should plant a blend that is composed of species that are all native to the planting area. Blends like these can be found from many native plant seed suppliers. If you'd like me to do a similar breakdown on a native-only seeds blend, just let me know down in the comments. A huge reason why planting species that are native to your area is so important is that our native pollen specialist bees rely on them for feeding their young. Without them, these vital native pollinators cannot reproduce. Some groups of plants, called Keystone genera, support many species of these bees, and you can learn about the top 10 Keystone plant genera for pollen specialist bees in eastern North America by checking out this video, and be sure to take some time and enjoy nature in your backyard.